Hey guys, well, I am at a new location. Uh, I'm at my parents' swanky Upper East Side apartment because they have a very tiny washer and a very tiny dryer that is inside the house. So I am recording from, I'm doing laundry. I'm doing 10 weeks worth of laundry over the next, I don't know, 24 hours because I don't have a washer dryer in my home, and I don't like living in an apartment building with a washer dryer either. And there are washer dryers in my neighborhood, like, but then I think we're supposed to be avoiding people. So my parents aren't even home, so I'm up here. So new location for our thing. So welcome back to Class 101. We are almost finished. It's possible we're going to finish the Michael Pollan essay today in these series of videos. Thanks for joining me. And as we head towards the home stretch of class, again, just a reminder, before the semester is over, you will have completed 4 essays from me. Three of them are probably going to be on Phaedrus, and the last one, which will be, and again, be on the blog, every day, the second week of May, so you can get updates about it. But we're probably gonna, you'll have to go onto Blackboard, which is a website that the school uses to take a kind of a writing test about David Foster Wallace and Michael Pollan. We've already been over the David Foster Wallace, so next up is the Michael Pollan. So let's take a look at that. Um, yeah. Okay. So and there's some more information about credit, no credit on the blog, so that'll sort of come in handy. And okay, we're looking good. Let's take a look at the piece. So we're back with Michael Pollan. We're on page 2, second half of page 2. All we have left to study for the rest of the semester is the rest of page 2 of Michael Pollan, all of page 3 of Michael Pollan, and half of page 4, and then we're done for this semester. Though there will be no other essays for you to read, no more vocabulary words for you to look up. We'll be just about finished. So let's wrap this thing up. So Michael Pollan's been talking about what he calls the omnivore's dilemma. The omnivore's dilemma just means that we are capable of eating lots of different kinds of things, right? Some animals are herbivores, like they only eat plants. I think there are animals that are only carnivores. I think cats have to eat meat, but I gotta look that up. But anyway, the point is that we are omnivores. We can eat everything. There's a whole bunch of stuff that we can eat. But then this raises a dilemma. A dilemma is like a problem or a difficult decision, which is if you can eat anything, should you? Um, this is a really important distinction. I think I've talked about this in class before. If you've ever seen the Jurassic Park movies, the scientists on Jurassic Park get very excited because they can clone dinosaurs and bring them back to life. But then there are other characters who say, yes, I know you can do that, but should you? Like, is this a good idea? And of course, if you've ever seen a Jurassic Park movie, it's never a good idea because they clone the dinosaurs and the dinosaurs fucking eat everybody. So the point is that you have to make, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. And the omnivore's dilemma is that just because you can eat all different kinds of food doesn't necessarily mean that you should eat all the different kinds of food. So, okay. And so he's been going through here talking about a lot of the different, how do we figure out what we can eat and what's okay to eat and what's not okay to eat, and there are food traditions in different cultures that go back hundreds of years and create communities, and right, those communities are making decisions about, yes, you can, like Jewish people. They can eat pork in the sense that they are physically able to do so. It won't make them sick, but they choose not to. And it's that choice that is one of the things that unites that community. Muslims also don't eat pork. So it's different. And David Foster Wallace, people can eat lobster, and they do. They go to a special lobster festival, and it creates its own little lobster community. So this is the issue. Michael Pollan's bringing up all this stuff. So that's a sort of summary, and let's keep going. All right, let's see what we got. So next up in our, you know what, maybe I'm going to put this up here. My mother has like an easel, so let's put it up here. Yeah, okay, cool. So, oh, that's pretty good. All right, so Michael Pollan says, guided by no natural instinct, the prodigious and open-ended human appetite is liable to get us into all sorts of trouble well beyond the stomachache. So we're not guided by instincts. A lot of animals know what is natural to eat and what is not natural to eat. They have instincts about these kinds of things. They sort of, they can sort of sniff something and figure out if, I mean, some animals, I think, can figure out if a plant is poisonous and they know not to eat it. We don't really have those natural instincts anymore. Prodigious and open-ended appetite. Prodigious means like big. And open-ended, we can eat all kinds of things. And that being able to eat everything is liable to get us into all sorts of trouble well beyond a stomach ache. So it's not just about you eat the wrong food, you get sick. But it's also you eat the wrong food and maybe you did something that was morally wrong. This is David Foster Wallace's point with the lobsters, that maybe it's not a good idea to be eating animals at all. So it raises a whole bunch of problems, not just physical problems about stomach aches, but moral problems, the kind of problems Socrates took real seriously. So, all right, let's take a look at what we got here. Okay, so he says, for if nature is silent, what's to stop a human omnivore from eating anything, including, most alarmingly, other human omnivores? Well, that's an interesting issue. Now, we talked last time about with David Foster Wallace was saying lobsters, right? A lot of people eat lobsters, some people don't, but a lot of people do eat lobster. We talked about the funny rules about which animals you can eat, which animals you can't eat, right? That like in American culture, for example, we're totally fine eating cows and pigs and sheep and chickens, but this culture considers it wrong to eat dogs or cats or horses. So we've drawn a line, right? But it's just a kind of made up line. Like, why is that? I mean, cats are animals, pigs are animals. Why can't we eat them both? But if you start taking down all those lines, if you start saying, well, whatever, I'm just going to eat whatever I want, how do you know somebody's not going to eat you? Right? Because one thing people could do is you can kill another person and you can eat that person. You can. Should you? No, you definitely should not. But Hannibal the Cannibal Lecter is a very famous serial killer, fictional serial killer, who's been in a whole bunch of movies and a TV show. I even wrote a book about him. But there's Hannibal the Cannibal Lecter is a sort of fictional character who is a sort of brilliant killer who, when he kills his victims, he also eats them. One of the things that makes him so disturbing is that, again, our culture, just like Jewish or Muslim culture, has a rule about not eating pork. And if you don't eat pork, if you eat pork, then you're sort of outside of their culture. You're an outsider. Hannibal the Cannibal Lecter, when he eats human beings, is outside of the human community. Right? I mean, if you're eating pork then you're kind of outside the Jewish or Muslim, observant Jewish or Muslim communities. But to eat a human being is to be outside of a much bigger community. You're kind of outside the human community. One of our human rules is don't eat other humans. And so it brings up all kinds of sort of disturbing issues. Because here's the thing. When you hear about these rules, you're going to be like, well, that's stupid. I should be able to eat whatever I want. Well, if that's true, what's going to prevent people from eating you? So I think one way to think about it is you want to put some rules down for what is you should be able to eat and what you should not be able to eat. The philosophical debate comes in, where do you draw the line? Most people will tell you eating cats, dogs, and horses is wrong. But vegetarians will tell you eating all animals is wrong. And vegans will add to it animal products like eggs or milk. The gathering of eggs and milk is bad for animals the way we do it. And therefore you shouldn't be eating those things either. So the issue is, where do you put the rules? Where do you put the lines? Again, for those of you that think, why should there be any lines? If I can eat it, I'm going to eat it. Somebody might chop your head off and eat you. So we have to have some kind of lines, I think. Okay, cool. This is going pretty good so far. All right, I kind of like this. It's nice to be indoors instead of outside, and sometimes I'm teaching in some weird weather. Okay. Because again, animals have sort of natural rules. They have instincts about what they can eat and what they can't eat. But we don't have those instincts, which means we have to, the rules have to be put up by human culture. A potential for savagery lurks in a creature capable of eating anything. Right? That it's dangerous. We're dangerous animals because we can eat anything, because we can eat each other, no problem. Whereas that's not true of not all animals can eat other animals, right? Because some animals can only eat plants. So cows do not eat each other. They can't. Cows don't really eat meat, I think. I think that's right. I don't really know that much about farming, but I think that's the idea. Okay, cool. I think I've hit the end of this video. I'm going to stop it, and I'll see you in the next one.